All right, we're gonna have some fun today. Hey everybody, I'm Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm and Garden, and it's just getting towards the end of fall. We grow a lot of different things for fall. Fall's a very busy time on the farm. We have a big pumpkin patch at the farm, so there's tons of people here, which gives me the opportunity to do kind of some unusual, creative things with different fall flowers. I don't know why I do this every year. I order too much yellow. We have tons of yellow mums. I mean, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. They look great. Yellow doesn't sell as well as the red and the gold this time of year. And so we've kind of come up with, the last couple of years, some creative ways to make this yellow mum a little bit more exciting. And you can do the same thing at home. It's super easy. The key to it is using Design Master floral paint. Now, technically, you could use any type of paint, spray paint, to paint your flowers, but Design Master is a specifically designed floral paint that will not hurt the flowers. It doesn't use as many harsh chemicals, so it's not going to burn the flowers. The foliage can still breathe. When you coat it with the other spray paints, it gets too thick on it, and the foliage will just all die. Using this spray paint allows the flowers to keep going. It doesn't kill them. And what we can do is kind of change the tips and frost them a little bit. So we're going to do a couple different types. They come in a lot of different colors. This one is black cherry. I've also got tiger lily, which is kind of an orange that we're going to play with too. But you can take these guys, just make sure you get it pointed in the right direction. And actually what I'm going to do is just kind of frost the tips of them. And to me, it's always easier to add more color later. But we're going to continue this all the way around. Now, what I'm looking for is for kind of consistency. I don't like it to look too artificial. I don't like to have like big splotches of big color in one area and no color in the other. I want it to kind of look like it's supposed to look that way. I know I'm using spray paint to kind of hide that. And any flowers that you buy from us, I will always mark on it if I've spray painted it, so you know that it's being spray painted. The thing that makes this a little different, we've spray painted it now, we've used the floral paint. All of these flowers are going to continue to grow and open. So as this bud right here continues to open up, you'll get more intense yellow color coming out. It only makes it look more exciting, more different as it continues to grow. This one's just a nice lightly frosted color, so I'm going to show you a couple other ideas. Marigolds are one of those flowers that I love for fall. One, because they do so well in the cool nights. Even though a lot of plants are going to start showing yellow leaves, they're not going to, marigolds just burst with color. It's very much part of the Hispanic culture for Day of the Dead to have marigolds out. We like to have lots of these this time of the year. And this yellow is really pretty. But I wanted to play with it a little bit. I've actually never done this before. So instead of frosting the tips like I did on the mum, I'm going to come in with this as soon as I get it started. And we're going to do more saturated color in the centers. I like using the orange because with Inca marigolds specifically, you have orange and yellow. So I think it looks, again, a little, I'm not trying to make it look too unnatural, but I think it's fun to kind of play around. And as these flowers all continue to open, you're going to see more of that. It's going to make it even look even a little more bicolored. Just something a little different. Obviously, if the colors are too dark, like a dark red mum or even a really dark orange mum, you would have to use a color that was going to stand up enough on it. So I like using the yellow. We have a few white. This one, I'm gonna use our black cherry again, but I'm gonna go a little more intense. And you can see it just shows up so much different than it did on the yellow. And as these flowers continue to open and grow, this effect is going to become all that more exciting. But man, I love how the white really picks up the color on this so much better than the yellow does. My greenhouse staff was just telling me that we don't have very much white left, and I was bummed because I just think these are so much prettier now. But you can see here, you can go light for a nice light pink, or we can go darker. And I think the darker you go, the more contrast you'll get as the flower starts to open back up. And I do think there's a look of it that's a little bit artificial right now, but I'm really excited as those flowers really start to open back up. You'll see the two-tone color coming through, and it only makes them look so much more natural and real, but it sure is a fun way to make that look. And I have one more thing I want to show you. So I had our greenhouse staff grab me a mum that was just starting to open. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm going to hit these buds pretty good. And then as the buds open up, you'll get a yellow center with the color on the outside. And I think it's only going to make the effect of the paint look even better on it. One thing that I've noticed when you're using spray paint too, it's really best if the plant is dry. The water on the leaves will kind of make the spray paint run. And then you want to just give it, it doesn't take long for this to dry at all. And then it'll be ready to go. So this doesn't look like a whole lot right now, but getting all the tips of all these flowers and then as they open up, I really think you're going to get a nice two-tone look on any of the flowers. Give it a different look that you've never seen before. In fact, a lot of the fancier mums that you get in the florist shop, they call them floral mums. They have a lot more color range on the flowers, but they're not hardy. This way you can get an exciting look on your mums without being able to have a tropical one that's not, you have to keep in the house. These can go outside, they'll love it, and they'll keep looking good all fall long. My hands are still all painted colors from spray painting mums, but I wanted to take a second to kind of, believe it or not, it is time to start getting ready for spring 2026. And as you can see, our very first little plants are going in. We're starting to take cuttings on a few things and get them going. There's a couple different ways that we take cuttings, especially with some of our houseplants and succulents that we're using. So this is, we were just trying to get some Pilea peperomioides. These actually, on this particular houseplant, I like to take the cuttings off of the little starts that are coming up along in the plant. So we make sure we hold a couple of them back. Let's see here. You can see it's like a little cutting. There's little roots just starting to come off the bottom of it. Let me see if I can pull one out here that has a little more roots to it. See those little hairs coming out? So they'll sit in here for probably around 5 to 6 weeks. We'll keep them going from Plectranthus. This is Plectranthus guacamole. This is purple Plectranthus. We're starting to take cuttings on a lot of succulents, other little houseplants. That fine gold over there is one of my favorites for using for indoor planters during the winter time. Has that really nice gold foliage. But a lot of times on some houseplants like this purple Tradescantia, such a vigorous grower. It has baby's breath. Tradescantia is another name for it because it has these really light, airy pink flowers on it. We actually take the cuttings and put them directly into a basket. So this was about a month ago, maybe a little bit more now, 6 weeks. We put 3 cuttings in this basket and look, that's all it took. Some of these can root so quickly. It's important when you're starting to take cuttings on any of your houseplants or your succulents. Those first couple weeks when you're taking the cutting and putting it in soil, whether it's in a little plug tray, whether it's in a little pot, they have no roots. So the only way that it can get water is through the leaves. So you really want to make sure that they do not dry out on the leaves. That's its only source of water. We mist in here about every 30 minutes. We're going through and getting water on top of the leaves so that they don't dry out. And then once those little roots start to come on the bottom, it's very important that you don't let the soil dry out, because those roots are so small. As soon as it dries out, those roots are gone and you have to start all over again. So it's kind of watching. A lot of times when, like specifically with succulents, you don't want to put any water on the soil until it gets roots in. And I come along and I'll just give it a little tug. And I want to see if it's holding in there, it's got roots. I'm going to transition and start making sure that the soil stays a little bit more moist, and that way that those roots can get started. But believe it or not, here we go again for 2026. So you're going to want to like, follow, subscribe, and stay tuned, because literally fuchsias are going to arrive in a couple weeks and we're going to start planting, and I'm going to bring you all along for that ride. In the meantime, I wanted to show you one of my fall treats that we grow on the farm. It's Delicata squash. In fact, kind of a funny story. In 2020, I got a call. Obviously, like, the world was going crazy, and we're trying to figure out how to stay open and what to do. And I got a call from who he said was a producer. And he said, I need you to shut down your entire store for a day because I have a television show coming out. And I said, there's no way I'm shutting down. He wouldn't tell me what show it was. It was like complete secrecy. And I hung up on him. I didn't know who this guy was. He wouldn't tell me who he was or who he worked for. He called me back and he said, okay, I get it. I'm so-and-so, and we are filming Top Chef in Portland. And we are filming the finale next week, and we want the final contestants to come out to the farm. And I said, well, why didn't you tell me that to start? And we ended up kind of negotiating the way that we did it. Like, I moved. They were trying to keep all of their contestants from being exposed or doing anything. So we were able to close part of the store, keep the other side open so that they could keep going and they could film the show. And what did make the final cut was me going through our squash with the gentleman who ended up winning, and he wanted a squash for a dessert. And I told him, Delicata, this is the squash that you want to get. And he kind of fought with me. He's like, no, I don't think so. I want a really good dessert. And I said, nope, this is what you want. And the show came down to the desserts, and he won Top Chef that year because of Delicata squash. And so Jessica and my mom went through a little video on how to prepare Delicata squash. So stay tuned and find out. My mom's going to show you one of her special tricks.
We have a lot of different squash that we raise here on the farm, but this is by far my favorite one. This is a Delicata. What I look for is the biggest one I can find. It is super easy to cook this. I suggest that you take it whole and put it in your microwave and microwave it from 3 to 6 minutes, turning it over once, and that will soften your squash so that you can take a knife and just cut them in half very easily. And then cut it open, and you're going to take and clean out the seed cavity with a spoon and discard that. And my favorite way to fix them is a couple teaspoons of butter in the top of them, and then put the brown sugar in with the butter and have your oven on to 350 degrees. And you take, once you've got them cut and buttered, you put them in a small pan, glass, metal, whatever you got, and leave them in the oven at 350 degrees for about a half hour to finish them off. And oh my gosh, it's so good. It is sweet. It is delicious. So get some Delicata squash and enjoy this great fall treat.